Good morning, all. Last lecture we discussed with the PAR, photosynthetic active radiation. Only 2 to 10% solar energy is absorbed by plants and utilized in photosynthesis process. Okay, let us discuss with the next topic. You note down that one point yesterday I told to you that 500 meters deep in the sea, the source of energy is thermal power. I hope you have noted down that. Fine. So they obtain the thermal energy. Temperature. Temperature is measured by thermometer, or in the underwater it is measured by thermistor. Temperature is measured underwater by thermistor. Now, temperature has directly effect on the animals, size of an animal. Fine. So here I will tell you the different rules. Effect of temperature on animals. See, this is the Bergman's rule. Bergman's rule state that birds and mammals, yes, birds and mammals are vertebrates, and these vertebrates are only present on the earth which are homeothermic or warm-blooded. Birds and mammals can never change their body temperature at all. They try to maintain their body temperature constant during their life. So in the cold region, the size of the body of birds and mammals is greater. So in cold region, the birds and mammals have greater size. Why? Don't accept this at all. Why? Comment please. Anyone comment please, no problem. In cold region, the body size is greater body size, and lesser body size in warm region. Why?
Surface area.
Sorry?
Surface area.
Surface area increases for what?
Temperature.
Okay. Any other? Greater body size in cold region. Great body size is consists of the fat deposition. I hope you got the meaning of this statement. Greater body size due to more composition of the fat, more storage of the fat to make the body warm. So in the cold region, the outermost atmosphere temperature is lower. So those animals consist greater body size to maintain their body warm. Yes, increase the surface area, we say it is a little bit right, but increase the surface area due to deposition of the fat. And you know that have you think about the white elephant? Is it present? Have you heard about this white elephant? White elephant. Can you imagine that? Is it there on the earth or not? White tiger? Yes, you know that. White tiger. White Tiger Protection Act that we have for the conservation of the biodiversity. Crocodile Breeding Act for this also. Asiatic Lion Protection Act. We have the highest biodiversity of the Asiatic lion in the world. Yes, now we have the highest species of the Asiatic lion in the century. Yes, you think about the white tiger, so similarly white elephant is also there. And this white elephant is present in the colder regions. Cold regions. White tiger present in the cold regions. Why? Because when the animal body is coming in contact with sunlight, then melanin color pigmentation formation increases. As a result, different colored pigments are seen on the skin. So white tiger cannot adapt to this atmosphere. And normal tiger, you know that color of it, it cannot survive in the cold region. Along with that, they have fat deposition. Fine. So to maintain the body warm. Okay. So this is the Bergman's rule. Horse and mammals have greater body size in the cold region and lesser body size in the warm region. So in warm region, already atmosphere is warm, so they have no adaptation to make their body warm. So they have lesser body size. So this is the Bergman's rule. Now second is Allen's rule. It is given that you know this rule, it is given that mammals from cold climates generally have shorter ears and limbs to minimize the heat loss. So to minimize the heat loss, they have less ears and limbs. Generally have short length. Fine. So much more length, much more metabolic process and much more heat loss is there. Okay. So this is the Allen's rule. See here some information is given there. It is there in the textbook. Heat loss or heat gain is the function of the surface area. Since small animals have large surface area relative to their volume. Have you found this in the textbook? heat gain is the function of the surface area. Since small animals have large surface area relative to their volume, so they tend to lose the body heat very fast when it is cold outside. So small animals have large surface area. So when these small animals are present in the cold atmosphere, they rapidly lose the heat. Then they have to expend much energy to generate the body heat through metabolism, and that's why one sentence is important. Why? This is the main reason why very small animals are rarely found in the polar regions. So in polar region, very small animals are rarely found. Why? Because against the cold atmosphere, they have lost very large amount of the energy. So I mean to say in short that very small animals cannot survive in the polar region. That's why they are rarely found in the polar regions. So this is the reason that fine. Okay, now a few important points I can tell you now. You note down that. First you listen carefully and then later on I will tell you. Temperature is the most ecologically relevant environmental factor. First you hear it, okay, understand it, try to understand, and then if necessary then write, no problem at all. Temperature is the most ecologically relevant environmental factors. You are aware that average temperature on the land varies seasonally. Decrease progressively from the equator towards the poles and plains to the mountain tops. Okay, I think it is there in the altitudinal gradient. And here in the conformers of wherever it is there. So you note down that temperature decreases progressively from the equator towards the polar region. And from plains to the mountain tops. It ranges from sub-zero level in polar areas and high altitude to greater than 50 degrees Celsius in the tropic desert in the summer. So in some areas the temperature is much more lesser. Just right now if you think about that in Mount Abu, temperature is there in minus. But when you think about the desert, right now you go in the desert, the temperature is higher during daytime along with the winter season. Okay? There are however unique habitats such as thermal springs and deep sea hydrothermal vents where average temperature exceeds 100 degrees Celsius. So you underline these four statements. Fine. It is general knowledge that mango trees do not and cannot grow in the temperate countries like Canada and Germany. It is already given there. Snow leopard are not found in Kerala forest, and tuna fish are rarely caught beyond the tropical latitude in the ocean. And now the two statements are there, two words, eurythermal and stenothermal, right? What is eurythermal? Organisms which can tolerate the wide range of the temperature. And stenothermal, narrow range. Very good. Okay, now you search this statement in the adaptation. In the polar seas, aquatic mammals like seals, is it there? Have a thick layer of the fat known as blubber. On the page number 226. See, here comparatively to the sexual reproduction in flowering plant, human reproduction, genetics, comparatively ecology is much more tough. You spend more time for these chapters. Don't neglect it. Because if you think about that, these chapters are very easy, so it is wrong belief. Fine? These are very tough chapters. Fine, so you spend more time for this. And for the remaining chapters, genetics, the sexual reproduction in the flowering plant, you apply your logic and then you are able to solve the question. But if you found the tough question for this chapter, no any idea for solving that question. Fine, so you spend more time for this. Fine, so first of all you prepare these 12 chapters completely at all, except the deductive topics. 3 topics are deducted, fine, from this specifically from this chapter. 6th chapter, lack of iron, regulation of the gene expression. Fine, 8th chapter, drugs and alcohol abuse. And 11th chapter, 11.1 topic, wall. Skip that. Fine. Okay. So cells have a thick layer of fat known as blubber below the skin, acts as an insulator. Insulating layer. Yes, we have insulating layer surround to the axon, and it is, you know that it is known as myelin sheath. So myelin sheath promotes the transfer of the nerve impulse rapidly from one region to another region, as well as it prevents the transmission of the nerve impulse into the surrounding region. It prevents it. It increases the velocity of the nerve impulse. Myelin sheath is very, very important. So myelin sheath is insulating layer around to the axon fiber, fine, and reduce the heat loss. This is known as physiological adaptation. Many desert plants have a thick cuticle layer on the leaf surface and have the stomata arranged in the tip to minimize the water loss through transpiration. So, if you know the one statement, many desert plants consist sunken stomata. Many desert plants consist sunken stomata, and they also have spatial pathway, CAM pathway. Anyone, can you rapidly revise the CAM pathway? Anyone? CAM, full form, crassulacean acid metabolism, and CAM pathway is mostly seen in xerophytic plants only. Plants live in desert. These plants have stomata closed during daytime. During daytime they have closed stomata, and during night time open stomata. But during daytime, along with the closed stomata, malic acid is formed during night time. So that malic acid is decarboxylated and converted into pyruvic acid. So from the pyruvic acid, by reverse glycolysis process, it forms the glucose as well as release the carbon dioxide through decarboxylation of the malic acid. It is entered inside the C3 cycle and form the glucose. And that glucose is converted into starch. So along with the closed stomata, plant is able to produce the food during daytime. Now what happened? During daytime starch is formed. So during night time exactly reverse process is there. During night time starch is converted into glucose back. Glucose is converted into fat. See, CO2 acceptor in C3 plants, RUBP. Okay, CO2 acceptor in C3 plants is RUBP. In C4 plants, primary CO2 acceptor is PEP, and secondary CO2 acceptor is RUBP. Because you know that in C4 plants, mesophyll cells and bundle sheath cells are there. In mesophyll cells, light reaction occur, and in bundle sheath cells, dark reaction occur. So in mesophyll cell, primary CO2 acceptor is PEP, and in bundle sheath cell, secondary CO2 acceptor is RUBP. So C3 cycle occur in mesophyll cell in C3 plants. Again, C3 cycle occurs in mesophyll cells in C3 plants, whereas C3 cycle occurs in bundle sheath cells in C4 plants. C4 plant shows C3 cycle as well as C4 cycle both. C3 plant shows only C3 cycle. So, in CAM plants, remember, CAM plants, CO2 acceptor is PEP. In CAM plant, CO2 acceptor is PEP. So PEP receives the CO2 because during night time the stomata are open. So during night time CO2 is entered inside the plant and PEP binds with this CO2 and form the 4-carbon unstable product oxaloacetic acid. And then this oxaloacetic acid is converted into malic acid. So during night time malic acid accumulation is there, and this malic acid acts as a donor of CO2 during daytime. So during daytime malic acid concentration decreases and during night time malic acid concentration increases. So this is about the CAM plants. So CAM plant shows the closed stomata during daytime and open stomata during night time. This is known as physiological adaptation. Whereas in the Opuntia there are no leaves. Opuntia follow all the leaves. Why? To prevent transpiration, to prevent excess water loss. And that's why you know that the stem is modified and become greenish in color, consists of chloroplast, chlorophyll. And I hope you know this word phylloclade. Phylloclade. And in Australian acacia, petiole become is greenish in color and contain chlorophyll, and that is known as phyllodes. So phyllodes and phylloclade, these two words you know that. Fine. So along with leaf fall, the Opuntia consists spines also, and these spines prevent the excess loss of the water. So this is known as morphological adaptation. Morphological adaptation. Fine. So adaptation is of two types: physiological adaptation and morphological adaptation. And morphological is nothing but change in the plant structure. Fine. So spines in the Opuntia, it is known as morphological adaptation. Now suspended animals. You read the topic suspend. Some animals have suspended life during winter season. So during winter sleep is known as hibernation. So which are the examples of the hibernation? Hibernation for two types of the animals. Cold-blooded animals, in that you note down that amphibians and reptiles. Cold-blooded animals, amphibians and reptiles. Cold-blooded animals, in that amphibians and reptiles. And warm-blooded animals, in that you note down polar bears, north ground squirrel. North ground squirrel. This animal shows hibernation. Completed. Okay, again last time I can repeat it. Cold-blooded animals, amphibians and reptiles, and warm-blooded animals, polar bear and north ground squirrels. Shows hibernation. Estivation, it is known as summer sleep, right? So in estivation you write the example: lungfish, snail, ground squirrel in southwest desert. Ground squirrel in southwest desert. So this animal shows the estivation. Okay, diapose is given there. Diapose is given there in textbook. You search that. Yes, it is given there. I can read the statement. See, under unfavorable condition, many zooplankton species in lakes and ponds are known to enter diapause, a stage of suspended development. Some animals, some plants pause that development for some period of time, and this is known as diapause. So this is also important. It is the gradual physiological adjustment of an organism to the slowly changing the new environmental condition. When there is a slowly change in the environmental condition, the gradually animal shows the physiological adaptation. This is known as acclimatization. Okay, so you write this. I can give you few examples for this. Okay, right. Few examples. Anti-freezing protein. Anti-freezing protein compounds allow anti-freezing protein compounds allow the fishes in Antarctica regions. Anti-freezing proteins compounds allow the fishes in Antarctica region to remain active in sea water. Bracket you write physiological adaptation. One question is asked in textbook. Which component is responsible to maintain the body temperature of the Antarctica fishes? Just like that, some question is given there. What is which structure, which component is responsible to maintain the freezing adaptation in the Antarctic fish? So this is known as anti-freezing protein. Answer is there. Fine. Next. Many xerophytic plants may accumulate proline, bracket you write, and amino acid. Many xerophytic plants accumulate proline in their cells to maintain osmotic and water potential. Bracket you write physiological adaptation. So now you know that proline is responsible for maintenance of the osmotic and water potential in the xerophytic plants. Next point, heat shock protein. Heat shock protein chaperonins. Heat shock protein chaperonins provide physiological adaptation to plants. Provide physiological adaptation to plants to high temperature. What it can do? See, chaperonins is now connected to the surrounding proteins as well as amino acids. So it prevents the denaturation of these amino acids at a high temperature. So chaperonin is anti-heat shock protein, right? Heat shock protein. So at a high temperature it prevents the denaturation of the another amino acid. So you know that at high temperature amino acids are denatured and lost their natural efficiency at fall. Okay, so this is about chaperonins. Here I can stop now. Fine.